everyone, and a truly heartfelt welcome back to Super English Talks. I'm Sarah, your host, and I am absolutely thrilled to be spending this extended time with you today for what I believe is a profoundly important and universally relatable discussion: how to build unshakable confidence. In our previous conversation, we started to unpack this complex idea, touching on the difference between self-esteem and self-confidence, acknowledging that we all grapple with feelings of doubt, and introducing concepts like self-efficacy. Today, I want to delve much deeper into this topic. Confidence isn't some magical quality that a select few are born with. It's a skill, a mindset, and a practice that we can all cultivate and strengthen. And for those of you diligently working to improve your C1 level English, building confidence in your language abilities goes hand in hand with building confidence in yourselves overall. When you believe in your ability to learn and grow, that confidence permeates every aspect of your life. So, let's really get down to the nitty-gritty. We established that self-esteem is our overall sense of worth, while self-confidence is our belief in our ability to perform specific tasks or handle particular situations. Think of self-esteem as the foundation, the bedrock of how we see ourselves, and self-confidence as the bricks we lay on top of that foundation. Each brick representing a successful experience or a skill we've mastered. A strong foundation of self-esteem certainly helps, but even if your self-esteem fluctuates, you can still build pockets of strong self-confidence in various areas of your life. You might not always feel like a good person in every moment because, let's face it, we all have our moments. But you can absolutely believe in your ability to give a compelling presentation, to understand a complex article in English, or to navigate a challenging conversation. Now, let's tackle that ever-present inner critic. Oh, that relentless voice that whispers doubts and amplifies our insecurities. Quieting this critic is not about silencing it completely. That's often an unrealistic goal. Instead, it's about learning to recognize its voice, understand its origins, and, crucially, to challenge its validity. Often, this inner critic is a collection of negative messages we've internalized over time. Perhaps from critical parents, demanding teachers, or past negative experiences. It operates on autopilot, often exaggerating our flaws and downplaying our strengths. One powerful technique to manage this inner critic is cognitive restructuring. This involves identifying the negative thoughts, examining the evidence for and against them, and then replacing them with more balanced and realistic thoughts. For example, if your inner critic says, "You're going to fail this English exam," you can challenge that by saying, "Wait a minute, I've been studying diligently. I've completed practice tests and received positive feedback." While it's natural to feel nervous, There's also evidence to suggest I can succeed. This conscious effort to reframe negative thoughts can significantly diminish their power. Another incredibly helpful practice is self-compassion. We are often so much harder on ourselves than we would ever be on a friend in a similar situation. When we make a mistake or fall short of our expectations, our inner critic often pounces with harsh judgment. Self-compassion involves treating ourselves with the same kindness, understanding, and acceptance that we would offer to a loved one. This doesn't mean excusing our shortcomings, but it means acknowledging our imperfections with empathy rather than harsh criticism. Think about it. If a friend were struggling with their English, would you berate them and tell them they're hopeless? Probably not. You'd likely offer encouragement and support. We need to extend that same grace to ourselves. Listening. Practice tip 1. As I've been discussing the inner critic and strategies to manage it, I've used several words to describe negative thoughts and feelings, such as doubts, insecurities, criticism, and judgment. For C1 level listening, it's important to understand the nuances of these words. Your task now is to mentally differentiate between doubt and insecurity. What subtle but important distinctions can you identify in their meanings based on how I've used them? Segment 2. Cultivating self-efficacy, the foundation of confidence. Sarah, we touched on the concept of self-efficacy earlier. Stay. And I want to emphasize just how crucial it is for building lasting confidence. Self-efficacy, as a reminder, is our belief in our ability to succeed in specific situations. It's not a general feeling of confidence. It's a task-oriented belief. And the wonderful thing about self-efficacy is that it is highly malleable. We can develop and strengthen it through conscious effort. Psychologist Albert Bandura, who pioneered the concept, identified 4 primary sources of self-efficacy: mastery experiences, vicarious experiences, verbal persuasion, and physiological and emotional states. Mastery experiences are the most powerful source of self-efficacy. When we successfully complete a task, especially a challenging one, it provides concrete evidence of our capabilities and strengthens our belief that we can succeed again in similar situations. Think back to learning English. Every time you understand a complex sentence, deliver a successful presentation, or navigate a challenging conversation, you're building mastery experiences that boost your self-efficacy in your language abilities. This is why setting achievable goals and celebrating your progress, no matter how small, is so important. Each small win reinforces the belief that you are capable. Vicarious experiences involve observing others succeed. When we see people who are similar to us achieving their goals, it can inspire us to believe that we can achieve similar outcomes. This is why finding role models and connecting with others who are successfully navigating challenges can be so beneficial. For English learners, Seeing other non-native speakers communicate fluently and confidently can be a powerful motivator and a source of vicarious self-efficacy. It suggests, if they can do it, I can do it too. Verbal persuasion involves receiving encouragement and positive feedback from others. When someone we trust tells us they believe in our ability to succeed, it can significantly impact our own self-belief. This is the power of a supportive teacher, an encouraging friend, or a mentor who sees our potential. However, it's important to note that verbal persuasion alone is often not enough. It needs to be coupled with actual experiences of success to be truly effective. Someone can tell you that you're a great English speaker, but it's your own successful interactions in English that will truly solidify that belief. Finally, our physiological and emotional states play a significant role in our self-efficacy. When we feel anxious, stressed, or physically unwell, it can undermine our confidence. Conversely, when we feel calm, energized, and positive, our self-belief tends to be stronger. This highlights the importance of managing stress, taking care of our physical health, and cultivating positive emotional states. For example, practicing relaxation techniques before giving a presentation in English can help manage anxiety and boost your confidence in your ability to perform well by actively seeking out mastery experiences. Learning from the successes of others, surrounding ourselves with supportive voices, and managing our physical and emotional states, we can systematically build our self-efficacy in various areas of our lives, laying a strong foundation for unshakable confidence. Listening. Practice tip 2. In explaining the 4 sources of self-efficacy, I used several linking words and phrases to introduce and elaborate on each point, such as involve, think back to, this is why, and furthermore, for improving your C1 listening comprehension. It's crucial to recognize these signposts that guide the listener through a structured explanation. Your task is to re-listen to the explanation of self-efficacy and identify at least 3 different linking words or phrases I use to introduce each of the 4 sources. This will help you follow the structure of spoken discourse and anticipate upcoming information.
Segment 2. Cultivating Self-Efficacy. The Foundation of Confidence, ****. We touched on the concept of self-efficacy earlier, and I want to emphasize just how crucial it is for building lasting confidence. Self-efficacy, as a reminder, is our belief in our ability to succeed in specific situations. It's not a general feeling of confidence. It's a task-oriented belief. And the wonderful thing about self-efficacy is that it is highly malleable. We can develop and strengthen it through conscious effort. Psychologist Albert Bandura, who pioneered the concept, identified 4 primary sources of self-efficacy: mastery experiences, vicarious experiences, verbal persuasion, and physiological and emotional states. Mastery experiences are the most powerful source of self-efficacy. When we successfully complete a task, especially a challenging one, it provides concrete evidence of our capabilities and strengthens our belief that we can succeed again in similar situations. Think back to learning English. Every time you understand a complex sentence, deliver a successful presentation, or navigate a challenging conversation, you're building mastery experiences that boost your self-efficacy in your language abilities. This is why setting achievable goals and celebrating your progress, no matter how small, is so important. Each small win reinforces the belief that you are capable. Vicarious experiences involve observing others succeed. When we see people who are similar to us achieving their goals, it can inspire us to believe that we can achieve similar outcomes. This is why finding role models and connecting with others who are successfully navigating challenges can be so beneficial. For English learners, seeing other non-native speakers communicate fluently and confidently can be a powerful motivator and a source of vicarious self-efficacy. It suggests, if they can do it, I can do it too. Verbal persuasion involves receiving encouragement and positive feedback from others. When someone we trust tells us they believe in our ability to succeed, it can significantly impact our own self-belief. This is the power of a supportive teacher, an encouraging friend, or a mentor who sees our potential. However, it's important to note that verbal persuasion alone is often not enough. It needs to be coupled with actual experiences of success to be truly effective. Someone can tell you that you're a great English speaker, but it's your own successful interactions in English that will truly solidify that belief. Finally, our physiological and emotional states play a significant role in our self-efficacy. When we feel anxious, stressed, or physically unwell, it can undermine our confidence. Conversely, when we feel calm, energized, and positive, our self-belief tends to be stronger. This highlights the importance of managing stress, taking care of our physical health, and cultivating positive emotional states. For example, practicing relaxation techniques before giving a presentation in English can help manage anxiety and boost your confidence in your ability to perform well by actively seeking out mastery experiences, learning from the successes of others, surrounding ourselves with supportive voices, and managing our physical and emotional states. We can systematically build our self-efficacy in various areas of our lives, laying a strong foundation for unshakable confidence. Listening. Practice tip 2. In explaining the 4 sources of self-efficacy, I used several linking words and phrases to introduce and elaborate on each point, such as involve, think back to, this is why, and furthermore, for improving your C1 listening comprehension. It's crucial to recognize these signposts that guide the listener through a structured explanation. Your task is to re-listen to the explanation of self-efficacy and identify at least 3 different linking words or phrases I use to introduce each of the 4 sources. This will help you follow the structure of spoken discourse and anticipate upcoming information. Asterisk. Segment 3. The power of mental imagery and embracing an alter ego. Our co-host Mike touched on the intriguing ideas of visualization and using alter egos And I think these are incredibly powerful tools for boosting confidence, particularly when facing new or daunting challenges where we lack direct mastery experiences. Visualization, at its core, is about creating vivid mental images of ourselves succeeding in a particular situation. It's more than just positive thinking. It's about engaging your senses and imagining the entire experience in detail. What you see, what you hear, what you feel, even what you might say. When you mentally rehearse a successful outcome, you are essentially priming your brain for success. Your nervous system can't fully distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. By repeatedly visualizing yourself performing confidently, you start to build a mental blueprint for success, making it more likely that you will act confidently when the actual situation arises. For example, if you have an important job interview in English coming up, spend time each day vividly imagining yourself walking into the room feeling calm and composed, making confident eye contact, articulating your answers clearly and persuasively, and leaving the interview feeling positive about your performance. The more detailed and realistic your visualization, the more powerful its impact will be. The concept of an alter ego is another fascinating and surprisingly effective way to tap into a more confident version of yourself. It's about consciously creating a separate persona that embodies the traits you want to develop. This isn't about being inauthentic or pretending to be someone you're not. It's more about giving yourself permission to step outside of your usual inhibitions and try on a new identity, even if just mentally. Think of it like an actor preparing for a role. They immerse themselves in the character, adopting their mannerisms, their voice, and their way of thinking. You can do the same for yourself. Your alter ego can be inspired by someone you admire, a historical figure, a fictional character, or even an aspect of your own personality that you want to amplify. Give your alter ego a name. Imagine their posture, their voice, their level of confidence in the specific situation you're facing. When you feel doubt creeping in, you can consciously channel your alter ego. Ask yourself, what would your alter ego's name do in this situation? How would they speak? How would they carry themselves? This can provide a mental distance from your own anxieties and allow you to access a more confident and capable version of yourself. It's like having a secret weapon, a readily available source of inner strength and unwavering belief. The beauty of both visualization and the alter technique is that they are mental tools you can access anytime, anywhere. They require no special equipment or external resources, just your imagination and a willingness to experiment. By consciously harnessing the power of your mind, you can begin to reshape your beliefs about yourself and unlock levels of confidence you may not have thought possible. Listening practice tip 3. As I explained visualization and alter egos, I used several descriptive words and phrases to help you imagine these concepts, such as vivid mental images, priming your brain for success, stepping outside of your usual inhibitions, and a readily available source of inner strength. Paying attention to these descriptive elements is key to understanding not just the literal meaning, but also the intended impact of the speaker's message. Your task is to identify at least 3 of these vivid descriptive phrases and explain in your own words why you think they are effective in conveying the power of these techniques. This will enhance your ability to interpret nuanced language and understand the speaker's underlying message.
Segment 4. Embracing imperfection and the illusion of perfect confidence, our conversation. Earlier rightly pointed out that there's a common misconception about confidence, that it means never feeling fear or insecurity. This simply isn't the reality. True, unshakable confidence isn't about the absence of doubt. It's about acknowledging those feelings and choosing to act anyway. It's about recognizing that you don't need to have all the answers or feel perfectly prepared to take a step outside your comfort zone. Think about some of the most confident people you know or admire. Have they never experienced fear or self-doubt? It's highly unlikely. What sets them apart is their willingness to push through those feelings, to take action despite their anxieties. They understand that growth and progress often lie just beyond the edge of our comfort zone, and that staying within that zone while feeling safe ultimately limits our potential. This also ties into the idea of authenticity. True confidence isn't about putting on a facade of perfection or pretending to be someone you're not. In fact, the need to constantly project an image of flawless confidence often stems from underlying insecurity. Truly confident individuals are comfortable in their own skin, acknowledging their strengths and weaknesses without feeling the need to constantly prove themselves to others. They understand that vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but rather a testament to their courage and self-acceptance. It's about being your authentic self, even with your flaws. We all have imperfections, areas where we feel less competent or secure. Trying to hide these aspects of ourselves can be exhausting and ultimately undermines our confidence. When we accept ourselves fully, including our vulnerabilities, we free up energy that we can then channel into growth and development. Consider this: when someone admits a mistake or acknowledges a lack of knowledge in a particular area, does that necessarily diminish your respect for them? Often, it can actually enhance it. It shows honesty, self-awareness, and a willingness to learn. These are qualities of truly confident individuals. They don't see admitting a flaw as a sign of failure, but as an opportunity for growth. So, if you find yourself hesitating to speak English because you're afraid of making mistakes, remember that every fluent speaker has been through that stage. Mistakes are an inevitable part of the learning process. True confidence in your English ability will come not from never making errors, but from being willing to speak despite the possibility of errors, learning from those errors, and continuing to improve. Embrace the uncertainty. Step outside your comfort zone and remember that progress, not perfection, is the goal. That is the true essence of self-confidence. Listening practice tip 4. In this segment, I used several contrasting ideas to highlight what confidence isn't versus what it is. For example, not about the absence of doubt, but acting anyway, and not about being perfect, but acknowledging flaws. Recognizing these contrasting points is crucial for understanding the speaker's core message and distinguishing between common misconceptions and the reality of a concept. Your task is to identify at least 2 more examples of these contrast statements I used when discussing the true meaning of confidence. This will sharpen your ability to identify key distinctions and grasp the speaker's intended meaning. Asterisk, asterisk. Segment 5. Taking control, the power of an internal locus of control. Our earlier discussion also touched upon the concept of locus of control. And this is a deeply influential factor in our journey toward unshakable confidence. Locus of control refers to the extent to which individuals believe they have control over the events that affect them. Individuals with an internal locus of control believe that their successes and failures are primarily the result of their own efforts, abilities, and choices. They see themselves as being in the driver's seat of their own lives. On the other hand, individuals with an external locus of control tend to attribute events to external factors such as fate, luck, or the actions of others. They might feel like passengers being tossed around by the waves of life, as we discussed now. Think about how this relates to confidence. If you believe that your success in learning English is solely determined by your natural talent or the quality of your teacher's external factors, you might be less likely to take proactive steps to improve, less likely to persevere through challenges, and ultimately, less confident in your ability to achieve your goals. Why bother putting in extra effort if you believe the outcome is largely out of your hands? Conversely, if you believe that your progress in English is a direct result of your own hard work, your consistent practice, and your willingness to seek out learning opportunities, internal factors, you are much more likely to feel a sense of agency and control over your learning journey. This sense of control directly fuels your confidence. When you experience success, you attribute it to your own efforts, reinforcing your belief in your capabilities. When you encounter setbacks, you are more likely to see them as opportunities for learning and adjustment, rather than as evidence of your inherent limitations or bad luck. Cultivating an internal locus of control is a key element in building unshakable confidence. It involves taking responsibility for your actions and outcomes, focusing on what you can control rather than dwelling on what you cannot. This doesn't mean ignoring external factors entirely, but it means recognizing your own power to influence your life through your choices and efforts. For English learners, This might mean taking ownership of your learning process, setting your own study goals, actively seeking out opportunities to practice, and analyzing your mistakes to identify areas for improvement. Instead of blaming a difficult grammar, rule or a fast-talking native speaker for your challenges, you focus on what you can do to overcome those obstacles. This proactive approach not only leads to greater progress, but also significantly enhances your self-confidence. When you see that your efforts directly lead to tangible results, your belief in your ability to learn and grow becomes unshakable. You become the captain of your own ship, charting your course toward fluency and navigating any storms along the way with a sense of purpose and determination. Listening practice tip 5. In explaining locus of control, I used several contrasting phrases to highlight the difference between internal and external perspectives, such as in the driver's seat versus passengers being tossed around, and due to their own efforts versus due to external factors. Identifying these contrasting ideas is crucial for understanding the core concept. Your task is to re-listen to the explanation of locus of control and identify at least 2 more of these contrasting phrases or analogies that I used. This will further strengthen your ability to grasp complex concepts. By recognizing the speaker's use of comparison and contrast.
Segment 6. The importance of preparation and the confidence. Forged through challenges, our initial conversation also touched on the vital role of preparation in building confidence. And this is a point I really want to underscore. Whether you're preparing for an English exam, a job interview, a presentation, or even just a social gathering where you know you'll be speaking English, thorough preparation can significantly bolster your confidence levels. Think about it logically. If you know you've put in the time and effort to understand the material, practice your delivery, or research the topic, you're naturally going to feel more secure and self-assured when the moment arrives. Lack of preparation, on the other hand, often breeds anxiety and self-doubt. That nagging feeling that you haven't done enough can be a major confidence killer. Preparation isn't just about accumulating knowledge. It's also about familiarizing yourself with the process and anticipating potential challenges. For an English exam, this might involve practicing different question types, managing your time effectively, and identifying your areas of weakness so you can focus your study efforts. For a presentation, it means rehearsing your speech, anticipating questions from the audience, and ensuring you have all your materials organized. For a social event, it could simply involve thinking about some conversation starters and mentally preparing yourself to engage with others in English. The act of preparing itself builds confidence because it demonstrates to yourself that you are taking proactive steps toward success. It shifts your mindset from one of passive apprehension to one of active engagement and control. However, as we also discussed, confidence isn't built solely on victories and smooth sailing. In fact, some of the most profound and lasting confidence is forged through challenges and setbacks. It's not about avoiding failure, it's about how we respond to it. When we encounter a difficulty, whether it's struggling to understand a complex English text, making a mistake during a conversation, or not achieving the score we hoped for on an exam, our initial reaction might be disappointment or frustration. But it's in how we process and learn from these experiences that true confidence is built. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's often a crucial stepping stone on the path to it. Every setback provides an opportunity to analyze what went wrong, identify areas for improvement, and develop greater resilience. When we pick ourselves up after a failure, learn from our mistakes, and try again, we not only develop our skills, but also strengthen our belief in our ability to overcome obstacles. This kind of hard-earned confidence, built through navigating challenges, is far more robust and enduring than confidence that has never been tested. So, embrace the challenges in your English learning journey. See them not as signs of your inadequacy, but as opportunities to grow stronger and more confident. Remember that every stumble, every mistake, is a chance to learn and ultimately to build truly unshakable confidence in your abilities. Listening Practice Tip 6. In this segment, I used several words and phrases to emphasize the importance of preparation, such as significantly bolster, naturally going to feel more secure, and major confidence killer. Recognizing these emphatic expressions helps you understand the speaker's key points and the level of importance they are assigning to certain actions. Your task is to identify at least 3 of these emphatic words or phrases I used when discussing preparation and explain in your own words why they are effective in conveying the significance of being well prepared. This will enhance your understanding of how speakers use language to highlight crucial information. Segment 7. Small steps. Self-compassion and the ongoing journey of confidence building. Unshakable confidence isn't a quick fix. It's an ongoing journey, a continuous process of self-discovery, growth, and self-acceptance. It's not about reaching a final destination where you suddenly feel confident in every single situation. Rather, it's about consistently taking small steps, practicing self-compassion, and recognizing that there will be ups and downs along the way. Think of it like building a muscle, as we mentioned earlier. You don't go to the gym once and suddenly become incredibly strong. Requires consistent effort, regular workouts, and patience. Building confidence is similar. It involves regularly stepping outside your comfort zone, even in small ways. Maybe it's striking up a conversation in English with a stranger, asking a question in class, or tackling a challenging English article. Each small act of courage, each time you push yourself a little further, you are strengthening your confidence muscle. And just like with any physical training, there will be times when you feel tired, when you experience setbacks, or when you don't see progress as quickly as you'd like. This is where self-compassion becomes absolutely vital. Be kind to yourself, acknowledge your efforts, and celebrate your small wins. Don't beat yourself up over mistakes or perceived failures. Instead, learn from them and keep moving forward. Remember that progress is not always linear. There will be plateaus and even occasional steps backward. Ada. The key is to maintain a growth mindset and a belief in your ability to improve over time. It's also important to remember that confidence is often domain-specific. You might feel incredibly confident in your ability to speak about your profession in English, but less so when discussing social or cultural topics. This is perfectly normal. Building confidence in different areas takes time and targeted practice. Identify the areas where you want to feel more confident and consciously seek out opportunities to practice and challenge yourself in those specific situations. Finally, be patient with yourself. Building unshakable confidence is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be days when you feel more confident than others, and that's okay. The important thing is to keep showing up, keep trying, and keep believing in your ability to grow. Embrace the journey, celebrate the small victories, and remember that with each step you take, you are becoming a more confident and capable version of yourself. Listening practice, tip 7. Throughout this entire podcast, I've emphasized the ongoing nature of building confidence and the importance of continuous effort and self-compassion. Your final listening task is to summarize in 1 or 2 concise sentences the key message I wanted to convey about the process of building unshakable confidence. Focus on the overarching themes and the main takeaways you've gleaned from this extended discussion. This will test your ability to synthesize information and identify the core message of a longer piece of spoken discourse. A critical skill for advanced English listening comprehension. And that brings us to the end of our in-depth exploration of how to build unshakable confidence. I truly hope that this extended session has provided you with valuable insights, practical strategies, and renewed inspiration on your journey, both in learning English and in building greater self-belief in all areas of your life. Remember, confidence isn't about perfection. It's about the willingness to try and step outside your comfort zone. Even in the face of uncertainty. Thank you so much for spending this time with me on Super English. If you found this podcast helpful, please do give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might also benefit from this discussion. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Super English Talks for more advanced English listening practice and insightful conversations. I always love to hear from you. What are your key takeaways from today's discussion? What small step will you take this week to build your confidence? Let me know in the comments below. Your engagement is what makes this community so vibrant and supportive. Until our next conversation, keep practicing, keep growing, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. You've got this.